Hello, children. This is Grandma's Angels coming to you again with another new message. And as you can see, today I'd like to talk about Helen Keller. I'm sure many of you children have heard her name in your history class or English class or one of those classes at school. But today I'd like to share a little bit of information about her and show you how she overcame obstacles in her life. And I'm going to start with right over there, where she was born in 1880. She was born a very healthy little girl, but at 19 months old, she contracted scarlet fever. In those days, there was no medicines for these type of diseases that went around. And she, from the high fever that she had, she got deaf and blind all at the same time. And so those senses of hers were gone forever. And as she started growing, as the years started going past, she became very wild and unruly, screaming, kicking, biting, always wanting her way. But it's because the parents didn't know how to teach her. The doctors in those days wanted the parents to put her in an asylum, an institution for disabled people. So they didn't want to do that. They said, no, they will raise her. But they didn't know how to teach her control or anything else that we have to live by when we're children, rules and obedience and all those things. Anyway, when she was 7 years old, she was out of control. They could not control her. And they hired a lady named Anne Sullivan to come and live with them and be her nanny and her teacher. Now, Anne Sullivan was raised in an institution in those days, and it was very, very ugly. To be in an institution, you're tied up, you just get lost in this world. Anyway, after Anne Sullivan accepted the job to help raise and teach Helen Keller, she thought, how am I going to teach her? She can't hear me and she can't see me. So how am I going to teach her? And she thought the best way she could teach her was through sign language. Okay, so she taught her with her hands. And it took a while, though, before Helen caught on to what Anne was trying to teach her. So to her, it was just a game to do the signs in her hands. It was just a game. But one day, she did discover that she was pumping water out of a pump, and when Helen would touch the water, Anne would sign it into her hand, okay, like that. And so something just opened up inside of Helen, and she realized, oh, what she's telling me is what I'm touching, water. That was her first word that she finally learned at 7 years old. So as the years went on, Anne stayed and lived with the family and took care of and taught Helen Keller every single day. And so Helen got education through Anne. Anne was a gift sent from heaven to help raise Helen. And Helen became very educated because of Anne's teachings. Well, in 1904, the years went on, she entered college and she graduated from Radcliffe College and one of the highest scores in her class. She was one of the top students, and she got a bachelor's degree. And she was the first blind, deaf person to ever graduate college and get a degree, a formal degree. Well, in 1908, she published her first book, which was named The World I Live In. So she tried to tell people the world that she lives in is very different from us because we can hear and we can see. She could not. So she went by her other senses that she had. And so she wanted the world to be aware that many of the people that were blind and deaf, or just one blind or deaf or both, she wanted them to know what kind of a life it was for those that are missing one of their senses, of their five senses. So, and then by 1920, she and Anne Sullivan needed to make some money to continue to live. That was their support for living and everything. And so she worked in vaudeville, and she told her life story for money, which got her to further things in her life. She got to travel a lot, and she spoke at thousand forums of public speaking on the stage, and told her life story. Not only that, but she became so educated, she learned other languages too: German, French, English, Greek, and Hebrew. She learned all these languages, and she just had a strong will to overcome her afflictions, her obstacles in her life. And that's one of the things she spent her whole life talking to people about it, that she wants other children like she was, or even children of today, to just overcome the obstacles you have in your life. Rise to the challenge. Don't let anybody stop you from your dreams or your visions. And here on the far, this is when she was a little girl down there. Then this is about the age she was at 19 months when she got scarlet fever and became deaf. By this age, Anne Sullivan came into her life, and she was very wild and unruly, screaming, kicking, biting, all those things, because she didn't know any other way to communicate. And then here she is, a grown woman, when she graduated Radcliffe College and wrote a book of her own. She wrote several books. But anyway, was writing books and going around talking to people. And this is how old she was when she finally passed away at about 88 years old. Okay. But she lived a very, very full life. Now, I just want to tell you a few of her quotes that I think are very valuable, and they can apply to today, to children that can see, hear, everything. And so, anyway, these are the things that she said. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. So, what she's saying is she had hope all the time, that when she learned one thing, now it was time to move on to the next thing to learn. And when she learned that, it was time to move on to the next thing to learn. She didn't stop learning. You have to have hope and confidence in yourself and in your future and what you're capable of doing. So that is her message to everybody. And then the other one is control your own destiny, make your life better for other people. Now, she controlled her own destiny. She continued to grow, to learn, and then to teach. And she did teach every time she went on stage to talk to people and tell about her life story. And people were very engrossed with it. They really enjoyed listening to her and all the things she rose to the challenge and overcame. And they really were impressed with her. And we think, well, if she can do it, why can't we? It's a simple thing, you would think. But anyway, we tend to give up. It's our nature kind of to go so far, and then nobody's paying attention, nobody cares, I'm just going to give up. No, you can't look at it like that. It doesn't matter if anybody's looking at all. Keep growing within yourself. Okay? And then this one I really like. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Okay? So I like that one the best, because many of us that do have sight and do have our hearing, we have all five senses alive and well, but we have no vision. The vision is, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? What do you want to be? How do you want to make a difference in this world? What can you do to make your life better for other people? She made her life better and then went on stage and talked to people about it and gave understanding to the handicapped children in the world, because in those days, many children went into institutions. They didn't be raised by their parents. They were too much trouble, too hard to teach. And so they'd put them in these hospitals, but the hospitals were cold and there was no much affection. It just wasn't a very friendly place to be. It was a bunch of kids thrown together and learning nothing, growing not at all. having no hope or confidence in themselves. But Anne was fortunate. Her parents hired Anne Sullivan. So Helen learned how to grow, hope, have confidence, and to believe in herself. And that's the message I'm trying to get to you children today. Believe in yourself, hope for tomorrow, have confidence in who you are and what you're capable of doing, and just love life, okay? Love life. You're alive. Make a difference here in this world, okay? You're only here for a certain amount of time, and then we're going to move on from this world to another world, and we're going to continue to grow and learn. So do your best now. Rise to your challenges. Don't let obstacles stop you. Step on them and keep on going, okay? Children, I hope my messages are getting across to somebody. And another movie I would like to recommend is The Miracle Worker. There's different versions of it, or different actors and actresses in it through different time periods, but the message is the same. So if you can look up a movie, The Miracle Worker, please watch it, and you'll see more about Helen Keller's life and all that she did and accomplished in this life. All right? She did it. You can do it. I can do it. We all are capable of doing it. Have hope, confidence, and believe in yourself. Okay? So this is Grandma's Angels. And as I always say, be your best you and be kind to others always. All right. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.